Good morning, everybody. We're back in the greenhouse again, and today we're going to talk about the how roots help plants to grow. So we've got for this experiment, all you really need is some water, some paper towels, and a couple of jars, or even a little bit of soil and dirt. So we're going to have our nice story, and then I'm going to show you how to make new plants from old plants. So our story today is called What Do Roots Do? And it's by Kathleen Kudlinski, and it's illustrated by David Schubert. So what do roots do? They're a very important part of the plant. So what do roots do? What do roots do for their plants above? They hold them up straight when the wind gives a shove. They hold them upright when the ground's on a slant. They hold them in place if you play on the plant. How else do they use this underground link? Plants are all thirsty, and they use roots to drink. The roots branch out small, then tinier still, then teeny root hairs drink up the thirsty plant's fill. Roots suck in the water, and they send it up high through tubes far too tiny to see with your eye. Water flows up through rootlets, then tap roots and trunk, then branches and twigs, until each leaf's drunk all the water it needs. And then way up there, the rest blows away on a breeze in the air. So any water that the plant doesn't need goes to the edge of the leaves, and it bloop blows away in the breeze. That's called evaporate. Palm, pine, or maple, it always is true. Half of the tree will be hidden from you. So whatever you see on the top is happening underneath. Shadowed by treetops, green ferns and moss grow. So do their roots in the darkness below. Every plant has roots. In sunny yards full of grass, weeds, and clover, you could see all the roots if you turned the dirt over. But you wouldn't do that. It wouldn't be wise, because when you break off its root, a plant often dies. Your garden is brightest and makes the most flowers when roots have been watered by hose or by showers. Food grows in the garden, in vegetable row. Some ripens in sunshine, but some hides below. Carrot and radish, potato and beet. The underground root is the part that we eat. We know that, right? The roots of a cactus spread far to the sides, or reach deep in soil for water that hides. And even in ponds, water lilies have found the best way to grow is with roots on the ground. So even though they look like they're floating on top, they're really attached with these long roots that go to the bottom of the lake. So under each tree is a tree made of roots, and under each rose and beneath bamboo shoots, wherever you look at a plant short or tall, remember, you don't see the whole thing at all. And that's the end. So I'm going to show you some interesting things and different ways we can root plants. We're going to look at some roots up close.
When a seed is ready to start growing, the very first thing it does is to send down its roots.
Okay, so we're all clipped in, and we're going to root a couple of different kinds of plants because the plants that we read about in our book, they were from all over the world. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to just talk about the easiest way to root plants. So at my mom's house, she has a lot of this plant. This is called pothos, or some people call it devil's ivy. And she had a lot of it, and she needed to give it a trim. So I said, don't throw those out, give them to me. So I took them home, and I just put them in a regular jar of water. I happen to have this fun little root thing that, of course, somebody gave me for my birthday. I think my mom probably. And I set the stem in the water, and after about 2.5 weeks, it started to grow these roots. So now that it's got these roots growing, I can just take my plant and just bloop, plop it right into my fancy pot. So you can see straight from the stem, out came the roots. We didn't even need to start this plant from a seed. That's why plants are so amazing, because as long as they can make healthy roots, they will continue to grow. I'm going to show you three different ways to root plants. And we're going to start with this plant. You might recognize this. This was hanging in our STEM lab. This is called a spider plant. And a spider plant makes a very special kind of root. See this here? That's what they call an aerial root. And you would expect roots to come out the bottom, but with the spider plant, they send their roots out the top as well. So I'm going to cut off some of these babies. We'll bring these babies over to the table and get started. So here we are with our spider plant babies. And spider plants have roots that go down into the soil to suck up the water and drink the water, but they also have these, which they sort of send out. And these are called aerial roots. That means they grow in the air. So when this root comes out, it makes little babies. Some people call these guys pups. Isn't that funny? Like puppies. So I'm going to show you 3 different ways to root these guys. So the first way, so you're going to want to cut your pup and give it a little snippy. And here is the baby spider plant. So the best way to do it to watch the roots grow is to get a little jar. Fill it up. Oops. Fill it up with some water. And then tuck it in and put it on a place where it's not super bright light. And in a couple days, you should start seeing this plant make its roots. And when its roots are long enough, about as long as mom or dad's thumb, you can put them in soil and you'll have a brand new plant. So the next way to root a spider plant is super easy. You wet a paper towel and you put it in a little bowl or container so that this part is damp. I'm just gonna add a little more water. Bloop. And you just lay it on the paper towel. And if you keep the paper towel damp, it should put out roots in a couple of days. And the last way, give it a snip and pop it right into the soil. But I don't like that way because then you can't see the roots grow. So that's the third way.
Miss Gloricel is an expert spider plant rooter. She said putting them in water is the best way to watch the roots grow. It should only take about a week.
So we've got them all rooted in. And we'll check and we'll see, we should see roots starting to grow down at the bottom. Okay, so the last thing we're going to do is root our desert plants, our cactuses. And they make very shallow roots, but they go super long. So let's see if I can pull one of these out. I started these right at the beginning of when we all had to stay home. So you can see their roots go wide, side to side. All you need to root one of these members of the cactus family is to, I'm going to show you right here, you just, I'm going to use my scissor, but you can use your fingernails. You just kind of snip off a piece, peel off some leaves, and take this end and put it right back in the dirt. Just plop them right in there. And this, see where that extra leaf fell? That should also start to root on its own. So we'll put some of these in here. And in a couple of weeks, we'll have more baby plants. These are the plants that grow in the terrarium in the STEM lab, and I made them just like this. I just took little cuttings. So there you have it, a bunch of different ways to start growing new plants from old plants. Give it a try and let me know how it works. Bye.